Carli Lloyd's volleyball journey has been a remarkable one. From NCAA's most outstanding player to USA captain, via a Champions League win, an Olympic bronze medal, trophies in Italy and Brazil, and unfinished business in Istanbul. Right now, she's at home in California, so I gave her a call. We talked animals, family, success, plans for the future, how she's doing, and how she's passing the time. Hi, Carli.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
I am really well, actually. I've got the window just to my right-hand side, and I'm in London, and for the first and only time this year, the sun is shining. So I am...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know. You're probably as shocked as me. But yeah, really good here. How are you?
I'm great. I'm also seeing the sunshine today. I'm in Southern California, so the weather's actually been kind of crazy since I've been home, but today it's a little cloudy, but very nice. So I'm happy too with the sun.
It's almost like we've swapped. You've got the clouds and I've got the sunshine. But so what's your situation then? You managed to get out of Istanbul. You've been home for a little while now. Who are you staying with?
So I'm in Southern California. My family's originally from Bonsall. It's a super small town, like 45 minutes north of San Diego. My mom and uncle live here. We have 11 acres. So we have some animals in like our house, and I came here a month ago and I quarantined for 2 weeks in one part of the house with my mom, my uncle, and my sister in another part of the house. And then the 2 weeks were up. It went great. Obviously, I was fine. We were all great. I was there for 2 more weeks with my family. And then my boyfriend flew in from Hawaii. I haven't seen him in 3 months because I was in Turkey. He was in California. Then he was in Hawaii with his family. And so he flew in 3 days ago. And since we now have to be quarantined again, we are in a different part of the property, in a different part of our house. It's actually a guest house. We usually rent it out, and we just luckily don't have a tenant right now. So thankfully we have like kind of a small apartment, which it's close to where like we can go in the backyard and see my family from a distance, but we don't actually get to hang out all together. Yeah, I'm just like, hey, Mom, I'm over here. We played games yesterday in the backyard, but like from a distance. So I'm here. It's been wonderful, and I'm thankful we have space.
The big question is, what animals?
Oh my gosh, lots of them. We have 3 bison. We raise bison. It's very strange in California, yes. 3 bison, 1 horse, a dog, 2 cats, a tortoise, some fish. We have 2 ponds on the property, so we have some fish. We used to have chinchillas, but recently those passed. We also used to have snakes. We had a boa and a black Mexican king snake, but those have both passed. We had them for a lot of years. So, and then we have there's like coyotes on the property, and there's rabbits and squirrels and tons of birds, but obviously, and lots of hummingbirds right now actually too. We have a feeder in the back, and I'll stand there, literally the feeder will be here, and they will come like within inches of my head, and I can see how beautiful they are. I've never seen them so close, but for some reason right now they're just like very comfortable being close to us. So it's, yeah, lots of animals.
That sounds absolutely amazing. So as part of my routine, so I've not been quarantined, thankfully, but everyone in the UK is kind of on quarantine. We're allowed out of the house to go to the food shop or to do exercise every day. So I've got some woods over there, super lucky. But there's this big, it's either a very small lake or a very big pond. I haven't decided yet, but we see the same birds every day, and you get to notice their patterns of behavior. So the coots love to fight, and there's this family of 3 ducks that always fly around together, and there is a goose that gets bullied by a swan. Like, it doesn't matter where you are on the pond or the lake, there is this swan that just bullies this goose. It just sort of stalks around. And I've been absolutely fascinated by this little like nature microcosm. So with all those animals and all those sort of personalities knocking about, that must be amazing every day.
It is. And as you were talking, I was thinking about other things that have happened since we've been here. There's a pair of ducks that have come in. They came in a few years ago and they return, and my mom has named them. So they're named Pierre and Marie, and they're always in the pond together, and they actually have gotten comfortable coming up to the house, and my uncle will feed them some duck feed like on the driveway, so we get to see them super close. And at night, I have this video I took of our lower pond has, I don't know how many frogs are in there, but you don't hear them during the day. At night, as soon as it's blackout, it sounds like a choir out there. It is like, it's amazing. It's so loud, and they will just go they actually go off and on, but it's impressive how loud they can get out there. But we have tons of hawks and all kinds of different birds, and yeah. So I totally get the joy in seeing how like the natural world works and how it comes alive, and yeah, it's cool.
I'll level with you. Frogs absolutely terrify me. Anything that can move from there to like how far they do and the speed that they do. No, not for me. If I saw the frogs, I would be out of there. This is
really?
Oh, totally. Also, things that belong outdoors when they're indoors, not for me. So birds, for example, love watching birds fly around. If there was a bird in my lounge now, no, I'd be gone. I'd leave the flat. I'd put it on the market.
Oh my! Would you rather see a spider in your area than a bird?
Yeah, a spider. I could deal with a spider. You could not, obviously not a big one. I'm not a psychopath. But if you had, a household spider, I'd sort of put him somewhere where he needed to be, or I'd watch him weave his web. Like if it was a tarantula, I'd just set fire to the whole apartment and hope the insurance company didn't find out. But but this is so different to your normal life though, because you are on the road. You've lived in so many different countries in recent years as well. It must be quite nice to be at home with your family and nature and spend some time.
It totally is. I was actually just having a conversation with a friend. It feels therapeutic for me to be here. And one of the cool things I haven't told you yet, but my uncle, he's the one that actually built our house, and he is amazing, and our property is incredible, but he does a lot of, obviously, work with his hands. And so since I've been home, I've started helping him with some projects, and it's totally therapeutic to go and see what you're building. Everything, like I've cut metal, I've sanded a bunch of wood, I've lacquered, I've put bolts in, we're doing these things, and it's like, it's a totally different feeling than the normal work that I'm used to doing, but it's so satisfying, and I crave it now. I love going outside and working, and also just the quality time that I've had with my family. I mean, being here, the last time I was here for a month of consecutive time was when I had my shoulder surgery, and that was a pretty rough time for everyone because I was in a lot of pain, and I was obviously trying to come back and go train. So it's been amazing.
There are two different types of people watching this now. There are the one type of people that are, oh my God, she's out there, she's working, she's bonding with her family, she's building all these things, that's incredible. Then there are the Echachabasi fans who were like, look after your hands, do not damage.
That's actually funny. When I did post a video of me plasma cutting out there, and there was a bunch of sparks, and I had a bunch of people saying that, what are you doing? Like, watch your hands. I'm thinking, like, okay, I'm not great at it yet, but trust me, I'm okay. I'm okay. And I have a good supervisor, so there's no worries for those fans that are worried. I'll be fine.
Yes, safety first. Wash your hands, but make sure you cover them up as well. So
True.
It sounds like you're so busy and you've got so much on and you're having a lovely time. Have you had time to miss volleyball at all?
Yeah, for sure. And I actually have a ball in my hands like pretty much every day. So luckily, like I'm saying, we have some space in the back. And when I wasn't quarantined from my family, my sister was a volleyball player too. And so I got her to pepper for the first time in years, which was fun. It took a little bit of time. She had some big bruises on her arms with the first couple of days. But, yeah, we've been peppering. And now that my boyfriend Riley's here, we went out yesterday with a ball for like an hour, just throwing it around and peppering. It's a strange feeling, like knowing that I should be in the middle of playoffs, and I have no choice. I cannot be there. So I don't spend a lot of time thinking and getting bummed about it. I just go hang out with the ball and do something, because that's all we can do right now. So, but totally, I actually found myself watching someone sent me a link like, hey, watch this game today. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I go click on it. I'm like, I'll just watch a second of it. I watched the entire thing. Like I couldn't move. I was like, gosh, I missed this so much. So Yeah.
Has it made you sort of reassess sort of where you are with the game? And have you got any more ambitions that you really want to achieve now when we finally get the chance to get back to it?
That's a good question. It's actually been kind of tough because I don't have a contract next year. I'm not sure where I'll be going. I've had some conversations with my agent and we're looking at different ideas, but the volleyball world's been hit pretty hard. So we all know some of us are waiting for contracts and don't really know what's going to happen next year. And so it's hard for me to set my vision on like, I want this because I don't know where I'm going to be. But I for sure know that I still want to play. I miss it. I like, whenever I do get this, like a call, I talked to my manager from Exhazabashi last week and she was talking about their plan and we know what could be. And I'm thinking, gosh, it would be so great to get back there and to play with them again. But we don't know what's going to happen. So anyway, yeah, I don't have any specific goals. I'm like, gosh, I really need to achieve that. But I do have this itch in me that I want to get back on the court. I want to play again. I miss it. And I'm excited. I think this whole thing, it's given me a totally different perspective on life. And like, there's not a lot in my control, which the things that are in my control, when I put my energy there, I feel really good about it. And so I think it's going to help me when I do get back to the sport, just to remember the things that are in my control, where I should be investing my energy, like why I'm playing the sport. I think like that why is good to reflect on multiple times in the season and throughout our lives and throughout our careers. So it's definitely helped me in a strange way, and to see and to have a ton of gratitude for it too.
How has Istanbul been? Because for me, it is the mecca of women's volleyball. It's just everything. Obviously, all the best players like yourself want to go there. Great coaches, great fans, great teams, great success. From your perspective, how's it been?
I love it. I really love it. It is beautiful. The time that we did have off, we went to the Bosphorus. We would get incredible food. Like I guess I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't spent that much time traveling in Turkey doing anything. I mean, I've been there and played in matches, but that's usually staying in hotels, going to the gym, that kind of thing. And the food is incredible. I've felt completely warm, open arms everywhere I went, whether it was at a restaurant or if I was in a supermarket. It was really hard to find people that spoke English. And obviously Turkish is such a difficult language. I did try a little bit and I learned a little bit, but really hard to communicate. So, but everywhere I went, people wanted to help. They were just really warm, open arms all the time. And honestly, it was a little surprising because I had been told, be careful, you know, we don't know, especially with our relationship with Turkey, and you're an American citizen. And I didn't go in with fear, but I went in uncertain. I didn't know how it was going to be. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. And now I know the girls that have played there multiple seasons and say it's amazing. I totally get it. I feel the same. Obviously the level of volleyball is great. Yeah. There's good competition. There's great coaches, like you were saying, great athletes. It's the foreigner rule was a little tough for us at times, especially with our team, because we had 5 and then 6 foreigners. And so that can be tough to be transitioning and not have a consistent lineup all the time. But other than that, was incredible. Really cool experience.
Yeah, I can only begin to imagine. I wonder. I do not want you to speculate on this at all because it's not fit. But I do wonder if you'll end up back there, and I think it would be pretty amazing if you did, because I suppose with it being abandoned, but the team playing so well on a number of fronts, it must feel a little bit like unfinished business. Totally.
We had such a tough season with injury this year. Off and on, like girls had different chronic things going on with shoulders and things like that. And then when we lost Kim for a while with her ab, and then she was coming back, and then we lost Hande with her broken foot, and then there was just so much to deal with, and we just kept grinding and getting through it and like finding ways to be good in a really hard situation. And I feel like we were just starting to figure it out a little bit, like a little more. And we had this fire in us. We wanted something great towards the end of that season. So I definitely feel like it's unfinished. I know that my teammates do too. So yeah, like I said, I would love to return. I really have so much respect for the club. I love Istanbul. I love the country, but my club was amazing. They treated me really well and super professional, really warm people, and like a cool family. It's just, yeah, it would be amazing to be able to finish this season. I think it's really close to impossible at this point, although they haven't canceled the season yet, so you never know. But yeah, totally unfinished.
It's interesting you say family there, because I think pro volleyball is different to a lot of sports, because you don't really get any one club players, do you? You know, like I suppose like a Tom Brady in NFL who was at the Patriots for a million years, or Ryan Giggs at Manchester United who was there for 2 decades.
Right.
You're all quite transient, aren't you? You maybe spend 1 season here, 2 seasons here. Is that more difficult for setters, do you think? Because you're kind of the beating heart of the team and the team plays at your tempo. Do you think it's harder to make those changes, or easier to make an immediate impact?
That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know if I can say it's harder because I don't play any other position, but from what I know about the sport, I know how hard it is for me. I can speak on a personal level. It's super challenging to go into a new environment every year and have to learn completely new attackers. And maybe, honestly, so with some teams, you don't even really form a system in those 7 or 8 months. You just learn each attacker's ball. So it's really individually based, like on what this attacker needs this and this attacker needs this. But we don't have a system here. We just are playing the best we can with what we have. It's very, very challenging. And I think, like you were saying, it's very rare to find a player that stays for multiple seasons. I do know some that have stayed for, I think, up to 5 seasons in one club, but the longest I've stayed is 2. And there's a lot of comfort in returning to a club. It's, I like when I stayed in Pomi the second year, knowing where I was going to return and, knowing the environment I was going to be in, what was expected of me, the city and all of that, it's comforting. There's also a lot of excitement in going to a new place and not having any idea what's going to happen. So I enjoy both a lot. I think that there's definitely more challenge in going to a new club every year. And as a setter too, I think we have more responsibility in learning our teammates faster and more, because we have to, every play we're involved. So it's, I guess, like, I could say this and maybe get battered for it, but I think it's probably harder for us.
Super. Right, I'm gonna show you a video now. Short clip of a moment in your career that you alluded to just now, actually. What are your memories of this? Can you see that?
Yes, I can. I already know what it is.
Tips in. Naz reverse sets to Robina Cruyff. She's been a go-to in this match. On this occasion, she doesn't put it away. Monica Slotches is blocked. And Pomi Casalmaggiore have turned the form books on there.
Every time I watch that clip, I get emotional and I get chills all over my body. That was the match that I watched when I told you I watched the match last week. That was it. God, one of the coolest feelings I've ever experienced in my whole life. But one of the things that I feel more with this than anything else I've experienced is the presentness that I felt there, with that environment, the atmosphere, the fans, the gym. Like, we were in Italy with all of this huge, it was like caloroso is what we say in Italian. Like, there was just so much warm energy there. And honestly, like, it would be hard to say that anything's beaten that in my career, that moment. As an underdog team and not having any no one had there was like 0 chance people truly believe we could have done it, and we just nailed it. Like, 3 sets, freaking great volleyball, and one of the most amazing teams I've ever been a part of, like from the top down, from the management to everyone. So cool. Yeah, so cool. That was a great clip.
I spoke to Maggie about, we didn't show that clip, but we spoke to her about winning it about a week ago. And she said that it was the weirdest feeling because when she stepped onto the court, even in the first set, when it was 0-0, she said the energy felt different and she just knew you were going to win that day.
Got the chills. Yeah. I just got chills again. Totally.
So why was it different that day?
I don't know. I don't even know, honestly. I just remember feeling so there, like every part of my being, like my body, my energy, my spirit, everything was like so present there. I remember moments in that match, like I do not remember other matches like this, but I remember being on the court, where I was in the court, looking up in the stands, knowing exactly where my uncle was sitting, the moment in the match, like feeling like, and I get the chills. I would get full body chills in the middle of play, like they're about to serve, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, and then I'm just so in it, like so present and grounded in like this belief that we were meant to be there and meant to make history for that club and everything. It was just totally different. She's right. So
how crazy that you watched that game in full the other day. How weird. That was a hell of a year for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. The one goes in the books. That was it. Yeah. But from that season, when I was in Pomi that year, I wasn't even sure I was going to be asked back to the national team. I was told the summer before that, you know, we might not have a need or space for you this next year. So that Champions League win was kind of the kickstart to, okay, getting a call, you can come for a tryout. The tryout extended, you made a roster, we're extending it more. And then June 30th that summer was, you're going to the Olympics. And I was like, what? Coolest summer ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What was that like then? Because obviously any USA team in any sports at any Olympic Games, the expectation is massive, not just for yourself, but just because USA is such just a gargantuan brand in Olympic sports. Mm-hmm. What's it like to sort of carry that expectation and be a part of that history?
Yeah. It's gosh. Well, the Olympics was like a big dream of mine for a long time. And so a lot went into this dream that I had visioned for so many years. Like, I'm preparing myself now for this, but also like for the dream that I have that could come, could not come, we don't know. So when I was finally in it, it felt so much bigger than me. And there was a lot of pressure for sure. We all felt it. We would talk about it. We went in as one of the best teams in the world, knowing that we were going to have a really tough road if we wanted to get a medal. And we didn't have the outcome that we wanted, but all through that tournament, we just overcame difficulties. And like, when you're in it and you're grinding in it, it's like you're playing a match, you have one day off. You play a match, you have one day off, and you just have to keep continuing to reset, to be in a good mental state, to be like ready for whatever's going to come. And it was really one of the hardest experiences for me, and for a lot of reasons. But when I talked about having one of those moments where like being super present, it wasn't even when we actually won the medal. It was the first time we walked out on the court and the lights were out and we walked out and it's dark and they announce us and the lights come on and I look up and I'm just like, are you kidding me? I have them again. I mean, these chills, like, it's it's hard to explain. It's a lot of pressure and a lot of emotion. And but it's like you've been building it for so long. When you're there, you're just in it. Like you're just trying to absorb as much as you can and be as great as you possibly can.
And
yeah.
And you're kind of on the shoulders of giants, really, aren't you? From the very beginning. I mean, there can't be many players who've had that sustained success over like a 12-month period that you did. It's absolutely crazy to think about. Absolutely.
Well, that's really, thank you. And it's cool to go back and to relive this and talk about it and from someone else's perspective and like answer these questions. But one of the craziest things about the Olympic process, especially as a U.S. citizen, there's so many athletes in our gym throughout a summer, and there's only a certain amount of spots. So when you're competing every day in the gym, and you know that your chances of making this roster there's such a small little space for you to fit in there. And so that process, it's very grounding. And you look around and you see what your competition is. You know that if I make this roster, that means she's not making this roster. And then you think back to the history, like you're saying, of all of these amazing athletes that have gone through the program and had to do this and have set this, road for you to walk and to continue for the next team or the next Olympics. It's a crazy, like such a long process. That's the thing about this 4-year cycle. It's every summer is so tough, and you just never know. And in the end, it's not in your hands. I mean, you can do your best, and then there's someone else that has to make the choice. So
right. I want to play a very quick game with you. Can we play a game?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. It's called Simply the Best. It's dead easy. I ask you a question, and I just want you to give me like the first answer that you think of. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Ready?
Cool.
Let's play Simply the Best. Oh, what have you got there? Just a water?
Just some water. My coffee here, my water here. Just getting ready.
How do you take the coffee?
It's French press. A little bit of heavy whipping cream in it, actually.
Yeah, nice. That's because you've got the athlete's metabolism. Wait till you're halfway through your 30s. You don't play sport anymore. There is no whipping cream in there. It is like fewest calories possible. That's what's going in.
We'll see. I hope not.
Oh, just you wait. Anyway, let's play
right.
Simply the Best. Best setter in the world.
My first answer was Tom Kom, Nusata, Thailand.
Best sport that isn't volleyball.
Oh, track and field.
Yeah, 30 sports, fine. Best song to listen to before a game.
Not Afraid, Eminem.
Best moment of your career.
The one we just watched.
Best American.
Yep, they're the ones we just talked about. I just went through them both. The one we just watched and the Olympics.
Okay. Best American athlete of all time.
Michael Jordan.
Best atmosphere you've ever experienced.
The Montechiari Gym Champions League finals.
Best place in the world volleyball has ever taken you.
Country? Is that what we asked?
Yeah, best place, best country, best city, best wherever.
Italy. Oh, as a whole, their fans and love of the game and the tradition and all of it. Just, yeah, it's unmatchable.
Best food to eat after a game.
Pizza.
Yeah, good. Straight back to Italy. The heart's still in Italy.
Exactly. That started in college, though, actually maybe even before that, but yeah, it's been a long time tradition, my go-to.
It's a very good tradition. Anyway, that's the end of the game. Well played.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Have you got any more ambitions? Anything else that you really want to achieve before you decide, that's me now, back to the animals in California?
Is this volleyball or outside of volleyball?
Both, please.
Both? Well, like we talked about earlier, I'm not sure what volleyball is going to look like. I'm not sure what I want there right now, but I am thinking more and more about what life's going to be like afterwards. And I don't have a perfectly clear vision yet, but one thing that I do truly find a lot of joy in is writing. And I always have, and I have been doing it for as long as I can remember. I have so many journals and so many things, and I've been encouraged by some to think about writing a book. I've thought about it and it sounds enticing. It's something I think would be super challenging for me, but there's an excitement in it that could, maybe that's something that I would like to do, or at least attempt. Who knows what would come of it. And then I have a really strong passion for being here with my family on this land and like building. And I've always had a dream of having my uncle build me a home. And it's, now that I'm here with him and I'm just working with him, it's like coming up again. So who knows, maybe I'll build a home with my uncle.
That sounds absolutely amazing. If you did write the book, then would it be sort of autobiographical about your travels and your experiences, or would it be I don't know, like a fiction loosely based on life, or what?
I would think more autobiography, yeah. I think, but I don't know exactly how yet, because I think part of me sometimes thinks I should tell my whole story, and I should, there's so many things that I've learned, and then part of me is like, maybe it's just a book for volleyball athletes, for girls, for young. I go different ways, and I really don't know, because I haven't sat down to really try.
Right. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. I'm so glad we got to take that trip down memory lane, and your reaction made it completely worth it. And I'm glad you're doing well out there and you're staying safe. How long have you got left on your quarantine now?
We're 3 days in, so another 12 or 11. Another
11 days. Seeing as you've quarantined for your boyfriend, make sure that he's doing most of the cooking. Is that a fair deal?
I like that. I'm going to remind him of that.
Good thinking. And it's going to be on tape as well. Anyway, look after yourself. Enjoy the sunshine.
I will.
And when we're out the other side, let's catch up, yeah?
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Carli Lloyd. How lucky are we to be able to share the emotion firsthand of that Champions League win. That was getting goosebumps just thinking about her reaction. And if you enjoyed that, make sure you check out the Unscripted with Maggie Kuzoc, her former teammate, and from an American perspective, Benjamin Patch as well. Loads of great Unscripteds, but those are just two related to Carli. So head on over to CEV's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter and catch up with those and lots more that's going on there. Oh, also, while I'm thinking of Americans, the CEV podcast launching soon, and Jordan Larson is our first guest, so plenty for the red, white and blue Star-Spangled Banner fans to get stuck into in these times of lockdown. It might be European volleyball, but we've got that worldwide appeal, so stick with us. As always, really hope you guys are still doing well. I'm doing all right here in London. Don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of sunshine out the window there. I'm staying home and I'm staying safe. I hope that you guys are too. So stick with us. We'll help you pass the time, and I'll speak to you soon.